Good morning. Uh, let you know we're praying for a blessed Easter for each and every one of you as we begin this Easter morning. Thanks for joining us this early. My original thought when we talked about doing this was to do this actually at sunrise, which would have been about 15 minutes ago. And we're going to encourage people to go somewhere to actually see the sun rising as they listen to this devotional. That might have been just the back porch or out the bedroom window, but maybe go to a lake or go to a park. And then it's going to encourage you to take a picture of the sun rising and maybe post it and put a note about it this Easter morning. But as you can see, looking out my window, that idea didn't work with the clouds this morning. But we recognize that Easter often is connected with light in our minds, and that does fit. There is a vital change that happens that first Easter from darkness to light. It begins on Easter morning with darkness. John 20 verse 1 says the women set out while it was still dark. And on Good Friday, that darkness really began, the darkness that came over the whole land for 3 hours starting at noon as Jesus endured God's judgment for our sin. And that sense of darkness really engulfed Jesus' followers as they watched him die a horrible death on the cross, as they saw him buried in the cold, dark tomb. So where does light come into the picture on Easter Sunday? Think about the accounts in the Gospels. Where does light come? Well, it came as the women arrived at the tomb. It says they came at dawn when the sun was rising, light was beginning. We think of illustrations of Easter, pictures drawn often from inside the tomb, the dark tomb, looking out into the bright light. But in the gospel accounts, the place where light really comes into play is with the angel's appearance. John and Mark talk about them being dressed in white, but Luke says that they were dressed in dazzling apparel, and Matthew really points to the light. Says the angel's appearance was like lightning, his clothing white as snow. The language that's used is the same language that was used of Jesus at the Transfiguration. And that's kind of what we think of when we think of the resurrected Christ, his glorified body. Jesus usually appeared to the disciples after his resurrection in a body very much like he had before his death. But light is connected to him in our minds, and that's right. Jesus said in John 8, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And Easter opens up to us heaven, where it's always light. There's no darkness at all. And so this morning, I pray that we can see things in a new light because Jesus has won the victory. It's because of Easter that we can live out the truth from Psalm 27, verse 1, every day of our lives, even in these challenging times when our world may feel like a place of darkness, confusion, uncertainty, anxiety, pain, loss, death. Pray that you will be able to hold on to those words from Psalm 27, verse 1 today. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Thanks for joining me for this little devotional as we start our Easter celebration. The Lord is risen. He is risen indeed.